Good day. I present the research on the topic the application of remote monitoring tools in the educational processes on the example of the research of the content of water vapor in the atmosphere. In the last decade, the problem of modernizing the educational system and ensuring its high quality was at the center of attention in Ukrainian society. The education of school children requires new characteristics thanks to the uh, availability of information technologies and the emergence of an informational education space and environment, which is necessary for self-development and self-improvement. Modern higher education is characterized by an active transition to use of new information technologies in the educational process. Informatization programs and implementation, electronic textbooks are developed and distance learning technologies are developed. The combination of remote sensing with geoinformation systems made it possible to explore the Earth's surface in a new way. Satellite imaging allow not only to obtain images of the Earth's surface and calculate various spectral indices from them, but also to obtain maps of geophysical indicators of the state of the environment and on planetary scale using various climatic, hydrological, chemical and other models in combination with ground data from monitoring station. The slide presents the problem, the purpose, the object, the subject, and task. The application of remote monitoring tools in educational processes is shown in the example of the application of two approaches. First approach is complicated. It's an approach where the researcher has to first use the internet or other primary data, establish which data from which satellite are needed for the research, and two, find sites with an archive of information of remote sensing data, usually climatic data, are never in the same archive with data of high or medium spatial resolution. Third, via the internet to receive the selection file for the study area on a personal computer. First, to find software that will be able to open the input files without error and convert them, taking into account the storage feature, into a convenient and familiar data format for a scientist. For example, climate data can be in NCHDF, CCV, or other formats, while optical multi-channel data is usually in TIFF format for each channel separately. 5. Conducting a direct study with transformed input data and obtained results. In the study, an example of using a software product for processing remote sensing data Earth imaging will be shown. Data from the Terra Model satellite named the Mod 07 product were used as input values for the first approach for the diagnosis assessment of the water vapor content over the territory of Ukraine. The study used 264 images of monthly values of water vapor concentration for the year 2001-2022. Second approach, simplified, had a significant difference from the first. To achieve the result, the scientist does not need to perform points 1 to 4 of the previous methods. The researcher immediately conducts research using a web platform or an online application which provides him with a simple and intuitive way to visualize, analyze, and assess huge volume of remote sensing data of the Earth without downloading them directly to a computer for processing. For example, the use of Giovanni online application is given. To use the Giovanni web application, researchers need to take the following step. First, register on Giovanni website. Second, select the indicators that we need to investigate, namely water vapor. For this, on the select variance panel, select atmospheric chemistry, chemical components of air. Then under the keyword water vapor in the new list that will appear in the window, select perceptible water vapor average level, total column, mean of level 3 QR, weighted mean mod 08 mem 3 version 6.1. Third, select the study range year months data. The selected perceptible water vapor data is available from the middle of 2002 to present. In the select data range, UTS field selects the period for which the program should generate an average map, namely from 2003 to 2022. First, select the display format of the research result in select plot field. Below are three ways to display time average map data: area average time series and time series recurring averages. Fifth, selection of the research area in the select region bounding box or shape line. Draw a rectangle within Ukraine on the map. The program can process the research territory within the state border of the country or any rectangular or square shape specified by the US. 6. Finally, press the Plot Data button to display the data. The obtained result in the form of a map on the graph can be saved to the computer as an either image or downloaded in Microsoft Excel format. An example of using two approaches is an example of the use and comparison of two above-started approaches to working with remote sensing data. There was a scientific study of the content of water vapor in the atmosphere. This example of conducted research is interesting because water vapor is involving in feedback in the process of climate change warming. You see the average distribution of the amount of water vapor over the territory of Ukraine according to data from Terra model satellite. A during 2001-2022, first approach. B during 2003-2022. Second approach, a more detailed map of the distribution of the amount of water vapor on the territory of Ukraine was obtained by the first approach, complicated approach using satellite data. As a result of the implementation of both approaches to the research of water vapor, we compiled a table of the possibility of implementing these technologies into educational process. Based on the obtained result, it is worth noting that the implementation of the first approach requires a significantly large number of conditions and criteria, which is why the second approach is more of a priority for secondary education. And the first approach is suitable only for senior students of higher education, and expert scientists has required much more knowledge and time for its implementation and interpretation of the result of modern education should be based on the search and application of the latest technologies that contribute to the development of basic competences that form an independent and creative personality. In the future, these will open up prospects for the purposeful information of competent specialists in various fields, such as technology is the application of methods of remote sensing. The advantages of innovation methods of remote sensing are objectivity, reliability, comprehensiveness, detail, efficiency, periodicity, multispectral nature of observation, and most importantly, multisectorality, the ability to solve multifaceted tasks in the monitoring mode. The two methodological approaches considered in the work complicated with data processing on the personal computer and simplified with data processing on a remote server based on specific requests, made it possible to conduct a comprehensive study of monitor the content of water vapor in the atmosphere over the territory of Ukraine over a multi-year period of 22 years. The result of the study of the content of water vapor in the atmosphere showed that the changes of cyclical and the data for 2022 correspond to 2001. As for educational process, working with remote sensing data will teach them how to use diverse information in the form of space imaging. Pupils and students will be able to carry an operation with remote data in particular filter by days of research and research area to be able to search and select the most suitable types of remote sensing data for specific thematic task in the context of climate change. Using analytical tools, save the obtained result in the form of graphs or maps. They use the data of remote sensing and research for competences or will be formed among pupils and students to use the materials of remote sensing in their research. Use Giovanni software for remote data analysis, analyze the dynamic of changes in the atmosphere, hydrosphere, Earth surface, etc., and identify dependencies between processes, correlation, regression, etc., based on the satellite data. Thank you for your attention.